The month is winding down, and that means it's time for the Maybe series. Hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex, and today, happy almost New Year. It is time for the January Maybe series. So this is the precursor to the first episode of the new year of 2024. So if you're new here, the Maybe series is just a little list of books that I compile towards the end of the month that I might read in the upcoming month. I read about 2 or 3 books a month, depending on my work schedule, depending on how I'm feeling, all the things, you know. So this is not like a set TBR. This is like books that I'm thinking about, that's on my mind, genres that are on my mind. Like, this is a potential to be read. I usually file it down from this list of books that I have, and then there's always a spot every month for my book club book. I run a book club, and that will end up in the final lineup as well. Before we get into it, make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know what I'm posting. I post every week, and all we do on this channel is talk about books. So if you like listening to people talk about books, here I am every week doing just that for you. When I sat down to make the list, I will admit I was in a little bit of a hurry. But also, like, I just couldn't figure out where I wanted to be in January, like what I wanted to be reading. I'm going to give you guys like a little bit of a spoiler. December has been a little bit of a disappointing reading month for me. I just was not really excited about anything that I read, which kind of sucks, you know, like not being excited about what you're reading. And I was just sitting here like, what would make me excited? And that just didn't help me inspire any kind of confidence in my reading selection or anything. Like, honestly, it just freaked me out a little bit. Like, what would make you excited? I don't know, because I thought last month's books would make me excited and they didn't. So yeah, anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. The first book on the January Maybes is The Last Flight by Julie Clark. So I'm gonna admit, part of the reason why this one on the list is because I actually know someone named Julie Clark that's not this author, and so yeah, it was just kind of like a funny little thing. But this book actually sounds really interesting. It's supposed to be about 2 women that meet in an airport from like dire situations and end up switching identities at the airport. And then you're like supposed to unravel their lives, I guess, and kind of like put the pieces together. I don't know. It sounds kind of like a thriller, but also a mystery, and also like getting to the bottom of why these 2 women want to switch their identities, and if it works. Like, can you successfully switch your identity with someone? Someone random, not like a planned thing. Randomly switch identities with someone and it actually work. So this caught my eye. It does sound really interesting, and the reviews are really good. Like, it sounds decent. Yeah, so this was one of, I guess, 2 thrillers that are on this list. I don't know. The last couple thrillers I've done, they've just been okay. Like, I really want to be wowed. Like, it's been a while since I've gotten like a wow thriller, you know, that really just like ticked all the boxes and left no loose ends and made me completely happy. It's been a long time, and I'm super picky about my thrillers. And so to have so many thrillers in a row just be like either okay or not good have left a little bit of a hole in my soul. So I'm hoping maybe this one or the next one could maybe be good thrillers for January. The next book is The Push by Ashley Audrain. This is another one that's a thriller. I think this one's a thriller. This one, I didn't look too heavily into this one. Someone recommended this book to me and said it's about a mother that thinks her child is a serial killer. I mean, that has thriller written all over it, right? Like, serial killer thriller for sure. But also, like, this mom thinks her kid is a serial killer. And I want to sort of see if she can detach herself and do like a legit investigation or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, really see if this person is a serial killer. And so I didn't really look into it much more than just that recommendation. It fell within my page count that I like to stay in, and the reviews were like mid to low 4s. So that's pretty good, right? So yeah, this one on the list, we'll see if we get to it. So this is when I really started thinking, like, because again, like I was saying, a lot of the thrillers that I've read the last couple months haven't really hit the spot for me. And it's like, maybe we should change directions, right? And this book came up, Into the Drowning Deep by Mira. This has been on a maybes list more than once, okay? It has been recommended to me multiple times by people I really trust, and it's supposed to have excellent rep. It is a siren book, so like pirate siren book, you know. It's supposed to be really good. It's supposed to be really good, and it's been on my lineup for a long time, and I've always just kind of shoved it away because it's a little bit big. And, you know, I don't know. But if it's well written, big books don't feel that big, you know? It's only when they're poorly written or they're not exciting for me as a reader that they feel really long. So I really want to give this one a shot, but I'm not committing. I'm not committing completely, but I really, really, really want to read this one because so many people have recommended it to me, and it does sound really good. The representation is supposed to be off the charts, and yeah. The next book on the list is Girl, Serpent, Thorn by Melissa Bashardoust. I have no idea if I said that right. I am so sorry. So this is a Sleeping Beauty retelling. Okay, so as I was sitting here pondering all of my life decisions, because I did, like I spiraled so hard while I was making this list. I was like, you know what you haven't done? You have not given fantasy enough of a go. So, full disclosure, fantasy is not my favorite genre. It's really not. And I think it's just because I don't love to work that hard when I'm reading, and fantasy does take a lot of work for me. Like it tends to stretch my mind a little bit too much when I just want to be there to have a good time. Now, the fantasies that I do like are because they're really accessible and I don't have to work terribly hard to get it. So I was sitting here berating myself saying, like, you haven't really given fantasy a good shot. You know, there's lots of people that love fantasy and you could be one of them. I don't know. This book's been recommended to me a lot. I do love fairy tale retellings, and so this book came up in a recommendation with a lot of other fairy tale retellings that I've read and actually liked. So, and the fact that it's a standalone book also had a lot of points for me because I'm not really looking to pick up another series, but I don't know. Like I said, this one's been recommended to me a lot. I really want to try and give fantasy a go. Like, I really want to try and like see if I really like the genre at all or if I just tolerate it. Most of the time I just feel like I'm tolerating fantasy. Like I just haven't found the books or the writers or whatever that just made me fall in love. And that's fine. Maybe I'm not a fantasy reader. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to make sure I'm doing my due diligence or whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It doesn't matter. It's on the list. We'll see if we get to it. Okay, the next book on the list is If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. Okay, so this is supposed to be Disney retellings all grown up. And it's a series called Meant to Be, I think. And the cool thing about this series is each book is written by a different author, which I think is super cool. So this one, If the Shoe Fits, obviously is a Cinderella retelling. And I really wanted to read the second book, which is called By the Book, and that one would be Beauty and the Beast, I think. So, this series has honestly been on one of my lists for a long time, and the rep is supposed to be pretty good for all of these books, so I'm just going to see. I'm going to see if my library has it. I'm going to see how interesting it sounds. I'm going to see if I really want to read this or not. This cover... These books don't do a lot for me that have this type of cover, and I think you know what I mean when I say that. I am not a rom-com reader by trade. Like that's not my favorite thing to read. I think rom-coms can be good, but every time I've picked up a book with this style cover, I have been disappointed. So, I'm just saying... I'm trying not to judge a book by its cover, but that is really what I love to do. It's my favorite pastime is to judge books by cover, so I'm doing it right now. We'll see. Everything about the Maybe series is a we'll see, so yeah. Okay, this is the last book on the list. I did not preface this with a warning to you guys that this was going to be a short episode, but number one, I'm really cold in my office. Like, I forgot to turn the heater on. I'm really cold. Number 2, the list is not very long. Obviously, this is the last book on the list, so that makes it 6 books. I just really wasn't feeling super inspired when I wrote this list, and I really didn't want to sit here and like dig and dig and dig when just nothing was catching my eye, nothing was really sparking excitement, and I felt like I was just forcing myself to dig because like I need more books for the list. Well, I really don't need more than 6 books on the list for January. I can already see that my January is going to be a little bit busy, so I needed to make short and simple decisions. So yeah, short video, sorry, it's whatever. So this is the last book, The Sunken City by Emma V.R. Noyes. Noyes? I don't know. Again, I apologize. Okay, this book sounds super cool. Again, this falls into fantasy, but this is the type of fantasy I could totally get behind. This is like an orphaned girl gets raised on a pirate ship, so she becomes a pirate, and then she ends up going to the Sunken City, I guess, and figuring out that she's like a lost underwater princess or something. There's an enemies to lovers play here. The Y Choose, I think, is in this too, and again, just like pirates. I'm going to be honest, this cover is giving me nothing. I am not interested in this book. If I saw this book on a shelf somewhere, I would walk right by it. What is this cover? This is not giving epic pirate, girl pirate fantasy, enemies to lovers vibes. This is giving like after school special or like Reading Rainbow vibes. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong and that this cover is not the worst cover I've ever seen in my life. I'm so sorry. That's so mean. But it is. I don't like this cover. Anyway, the reviews on this book, super good. The page link is actually not that long. I don't remember if this is part of a series or not. If it is part of a series, it's part of a super short one. I can't remember. Like I said, I looked at a lot of books. But everyone in the comment section, the review section, and then like even some of the taglines in the description was like, if you love Pirates of the Caribbean, like, which I do. I mean, I'm a millennial who doesn't love Pirates of the Caribbean. So yeah, this one on the list. Will it get read? Again, I don't know. This one sounds really good though. This one sounds really accessible. And that's what a lot of the reviewers said too, was that it was a really accessible book. Like it wasn't like the fantasy plot wasn't too hard to grasp, and that it was interesting and fun. And it's actually not that big, which leads me to believe that the world building is not incredibly dense. So I would probably be able to enjoy it a little bit more. We'll see. Again, famous words. So that's all I have for you guys today. Yeah, this was a weird one. A little bit short, a little bit chaotic, a little bit rushed. Like I said, I'm cold. I want to leave. I hope that everyone had a good holiday. Whatever you celebrate with whoever you celebrate, I hope it was good. I hope you had a good time. And like I said in my last post, in my Yuletide wishes, I'm ready to say goodbye to 23. Let's move on, please. Let's push into 24. And I hope it's a good year. Do. But right now I'm just hoping for a good week. Make sure you hit all the buttons down below so you know when I'm posting. I post every week, and I hope that you guys are doing well. I really do. If you've read any of these books, if you think they were amazing, please drop me a comment. Let me know. I love to hear from you guys, and let me know if you hit your reading goals this year. If you have reading goals, I do. We're going to talk about it in like one of the first episodes in January about my reading goals. So yeah, if you hit your reading goals, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear that too. I'd love to hear from you guys, whatever it is. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.